Hi everyone, my name is Busala of Sass Cakes and Bakes, and today we'll be doing our red velvet cake. It's a very moist and soft cake, and I'll be giving you the oil-based recipe today. So for your red velvet cake, you need some basic ingredients. You need your flour, you need sugar, cocoa powder, 2 eggs, sea salt, vanilla flavor, red food coloring, baking soda, baking powder, white vinegar, vegetable oil, and UHT milk. So we're going to start by measuring out our dry ingredients. Okay, I need a bowl and my sieve. So I'm going to measure my dry ingredients now. Starting with the flour. For the flour, we need 250 grams of flour. For 1 portion of red velvet, we need 250 grams of flour. So I'm just going to sift that into my bowl while it's on the scale. It's usually best to work with a digital scale so you can measure all your ingredients properly. 250. Okay, that's a bit more than 250. I need to take that out. Okay, so I have 250 grams for my flour. I'll put that out of the way. Then you need 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. When you're measuring anything with a tablespoon, always remember to level it out. So you need 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. And receive that as well. Okay, so I'll put that out of the way. Now into my dry ingredients, I'm going to measure my baking powder and my salt. I need 1 teaspoon of salt and 1 teaspoon of the baking powder. I need to level that out as well. Okay, so we have our dry ingredients. To incorporate my ingredients, I just use a whisk to mix it all together, just to make sure that everything gets into the batter together. So you whisk it all together. So I have my dry ingredients. So before I measure in my wet ingredients, I'm going to prepare my buttermilk. The buttermilk is going to help your cake, give your cake that really moist texture. So for my buttermilk, I need 1 tablespoon of white vinegar and a cup of milk. So I'm just going to wipe my tablespoon now. So I need a tablespoon of vinegar. And a cup of milk. Full cream milk to be specific. Pour that right in. Okay, so now I just leave this to the side till I'm ready to mix it. So I'm going to measure my wet ingredients. Starting with my vegetable oil. I need 173 grams of vegetable oil. The reason why I start with this and not the sugar is because if it's excess, I can easily take out any excesses without anything disturbing me. Okay, so I need 173 grams of that. So I have 172. And then I need 300 grams of sugar. So I've returned my scale to 0 and I'm going to measure in 300 grams of sugar. Okay, I need exactly, okay, yes, I'm at 300 grams. Then we need 2 eggs, fresh eggs. I always try to add in my eggs one at a time just to be sure in case one is bad, I can easily throw that out. And now I'll add in my red food color. Now I add in my red food color. I need 2 tablespoons of that. And then I add in my vanilla flavor. 2 teaspoons. Okay, so I have my wet ingredients here. We have vegetable oil, sugar, 2 eggs, red food color, and vanilla flavor. And in the other bowl, I have my dry ingredients, flour, cocoa powder, baking powder, and salt. And here I have my buttermilk mixture, vinegar, and milk. So I'm going to start by whisking together my wet ingredients using a whisk. Just going to whisk that properly so your sugar is well incorporated and your eggs as well. If you have a hand mixer, you can use a hand mixer at this point, but try not to overmix. You can just use a low speed, but I just prefer to use a whisk. So you just whisk all that together. I try to whisk for about 2 minutes straight. So I'm still whisking my wet ingredients together. So now I'm going to start adding in the dry ingredients. I'm going to alternate my dry ingredients and my buttermilk mixture. So now my buttermilk has been sitting for about 3 to 5 minutes. It's usually best to let it sit so that the vinegar can react with the milk. So I'm going to add in some of the flour. I'm going to give that a whisk. So I'm starting with flour. I'm going to alternate with the buttermilk mixture. Okay, so I'm going to add in a little bit of the buttermilk. I just mix gently so that I don't have my butter splashing around. I have to scrape down the sides of my bowl so that I don't have flour settled to one corner. Okay, I'm just adding more of the flour. It's a quick mix, it doesn't take too long. If you're using a hand mixer, at this point you have to really reduce your speed so you don't overwork your flour. Okay, I'm adding the rest of my buttermilk. And I mix that in properly. Red velvet cake is very nice, very soft. You can layer it with cream cheese, with whipped cream, even with buttercream. So oil-based recipe. So it gives you a very soft cake once it's out of the oven. So now I add in the last part of my dry ingredients. I give it a good whisk. Once again, scrape down the sides of my bowl. And I give it a final whisk. Just tap that to get off. So now I'm going to add in a teaspoon of baking soda and a teaspoon of vinegar. That's the last part of our red velvet cake mixture. So add in a teaspoon of baking soda. And level that as well. And vinegar directly onto the baking soda. This gives a little chemical reaction. Okay, and I just use my spatula to mix that into my batter properly. And there you have it, our red velvet cake. Okay, so this is one portion of red velvet. So I'm going to bake this in a 10-inch pan. So I already have my 10-inch pan lined with brown paper or parchment paper and vegetable oil. So all I did was put some vegetable oil into my pan and use a pastry brush to just spread it all around. And I put in my brown paper and I just put a little more vegetable oil in it. This helps your cake to come out easily. So we're going to pour our batter into the pan. Please always remember when you're baking, you should always preheat your oven. So I have my oven on already at 180 degrees. I'm going to bake this for 30 minutes. Red velvet cake gets done really quickly. It's just going to stay in the oven for 30 minutes. That's our red velvet cake batter. It's going into the oven now. So our red velvet cake is out of the oven now. I'm just going to remove it out of the pan. I'm going to use a palette knife. Run it on the side. Okay. I allow this to cool in the pan for about 15 minutes. I'm just going to turn it out gently. I'm going to take out my brown paper, parchment paper, whichever one you use. I'm just going to remove that gently so that I don't crack my cake. Let's turn that to a board. So this is a red velvet cake. Very moist, soft, delicious red velvet cake.